Black holes, time travel, lens flares, and Katherine Heigl's boobs. Set your phasers to fun. This is the third episode of Movie Night. Hello and welcome to another episode of Movie Night. My name is Jonathan Paula, and I hope you're having a good Thanksgiving break. Our first film today is the 2009 reboot of Star Trek... Hold on, I should get this. Go ahead. Yeah, okay, sure. Beam me up, I guess. Sorry. Oh, no. This is all wrong. This is supposed to be the new bridge from the movie, not the old TV show. Forget it. Star Trek is both a reboot and a prequel of the 1960s original TV series, featuring an all-new cast of young and up-and-coming actors like Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto. Star Trek boldly goes all the way back to where the TV show had never gone before, telling the fascinating origin stories of our main protagonists, from Kirk's near-death birth and Spock's very frustrated upbringing as a half-human, half-Vulcan. From there, the plot follows the future Enterprise crew members as they leave Starfleet Academy and embark on their very first journey to save the planet Vulcan from the particularly disturbed Romulan named Nero, played by Eric Bana. And along the way, we get to watch as the characters slowly develop into the classic roles we all know and love them for. This movie absolutely deserves the high praise that it gets. It was incredibly successful, bringing non-fans and casual viewers back to this exciting franchise, giving the Star Trek name the swift kick in the ass that it desperately needed after the series started to slump in the early 2000s. I thought that this movie was ambitiously entertaining, edge-of-your-seat excitement, and surprisingly fresh and amusing for the entire 127-minute runtime. At first, I wasn't a fan of the film's strong departures from the original canon, but by setting the plot in an alternate timeline, director J.J. Abrams has opened up a very exciting realm of possibilities, where the writers are no longer bound by the franchise's previous installments. However, that didn't make it any easier for me to swallow some of the more daring plot twists, like Spock and Uhura's loving relationship. The lens flares in this movie also really pissed me off. I know it's becoming part of the Hollywood style, but the blue streaks of light going across my TV screen every 4 seconds became a bit distracting at times. On the plus side, I felt the characters were expertly cast, every actor doing a phenomenal job of bringing something fresh to the table while carefully maintaining the developed characteristics that the original cast had established over the last 40 years. This film has some great action sequences, outstanding effects, and an intriguing and fascinating storyline, and some comedy to boot. All of that makes this a very appealing film to a wide audience. Unfortunately, by popularizing Star Trek with some more mainstream action cliches, I fear that this movie may have alienated a few die-hard Trekkies. Now, I consider myself a Trekkie, having seen almost every episode of every series, but I personally wasn't alienated at all. I really loved this film. But let's see what you had to say about J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. The Last Holdout wrote, "Star Trek was the movie that Trekkies have deserved for a long time. The plot takes a little while to understand, but it's indicative of Abrams' refusal to underestimate the audience's intelligence. The character dialogue is expertly written, the casting is nearly perfect, and the action is top-notch. Karl Urban deserves accolades for his performance. As soon as he opened his mouth, you knew he was McCoy." Gura Glad wrote, "Star Trek was an okay action movie, but compared to the old Star Trek movies, I think it's lacking. William Shatner and the rest of the old gang had so much more personality, and in my opinion, a better storyline." Kefulo wrote, "Star Trek is like being a prisoner of war at the Playboy Bunny House." Now that we know what you think, let's give Star Trek a spin on the Rate-O-Matic. A 9. This movie really has everything you'd come to expect in a big budget blockbuster summer movie. Unfortunately for die-hard Trekkie fans and people who don't really like lens flares, this movie comes ever so short of a perfect 10. But Star Trek is an awesome film. Okay, can I go back to Hollywood now? Can you beam me back to Mann's Chinese Theater? Alright, back in Mann's Chinese Theater now, let's take a look at The Ugly Truth. Our second film today is The Ugly Truth. It opened nationwide on June 24th of this year. Starring Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler, this is the classic R-rated comedy we've come to know and love over the past years, mixed in with a predictable romantic storyline. Now, one of these aspects works, and one of them kind of fails. As with any romantic comedy, the plot of The Ugly Truth is simple, if unoriginal. Heigl plays Abby Richer, a morning TV producer who was forced to hire a loudmouth and arrogant late-night cable TV host, Mike Chadway, for her show to help boost the show's ratings. Mike is a self-proclaimed love guru, and Abby claims that, she doesn't need any help dating. Well, we can see where this one is going. And while this movie's plot and romance are rather unoriginal and predictable from the opening credits, it does do a few things to keep you entertained for the 96-minute runtime. For one, both leading actors are very easy on the eyes. Girls are going to love Gerard Butler romancing his way through the film, and guys will enjoy seeing Katherine Heigl bend over for no particular reason. With that in mind, this movie is already passable as a decent date movie with your girl or boyfriend. But what surprised me about this romantic comedy was how funny the comedy part actually was. Granted, most of the big laughs came from the excellent supporting cast, who really outshined Heigl and Butler in some scenes, but the humor was nonetheless very funny. I recall laughing out loud at this film's immature and crude jokes on a number of occasions, and since you often enter these types of films with low expectations, when a film does deliver, it often leaves you with a very inflated sense of how enjoyable the film was. But in this case, I think the movie's positive reception was actually well deserved. And that's what I thought of The Ugly Truth. Let's see what you said. Bushi Yoshel wrote, The Ugly Truth. It was a pretty good chick flick, and in my opinion I think one of the better ones for guys with the blunt language. If nothing else, the male actors were great to look at. I Heart Jasper Cullen wrote, My mom said The Ugly Truth was one of the dumbest things she's ever seen. It was just another crappy romantic comedy, with stupid characters and unrealistic scenes. The Ugly Truth, for the loss. Junger Leader wrote, The Ugly Truth is a funny twist on the generic romantic comedy movie, and the guy's endless bag of douchey comments are generally hilarious. If you have an opinion on any of the films we have coming up, all you have to do is leave a comment down below. And now let's give Ugly Truth a rating on the Rate-O-Matic. Good. Although uninspired and quite predictable, The Ugly Truth does do enough to set itself apart from the standard cliché of romantic comedies. And it definitely delighted with its unexpected lowbrow humor. If you had written this movie off, I'd definitely consider giving it a rental because it's actually not that bad. It gets a 6. Now let's quickly check out a new feature here in the show called Tweet Critique, movie reviews in under 140 characters. And since this is a brand new feature, I'm going to kick it off with one of my own. I tweeted, 3 reasons to watch Transformers 2. Megan Fox's left tit, Megan Fox's right tit, and giant robot explosions. Luckily, it does all 3 well. MubD1234 wrote, The Final Destination, pretty much the same as the 3 previous movies, but in 3D. Definitely not worth the special 3D ticket cost. CJ the DJ 53 wrote, Pirate Radio was fun for rock and rollers and rebels, but it definitely earned the R rating. Lots of surprises in store. If you have a tweet critique you'd like to submit to Movie Night, all you have to do is review a recently released movie and add the JPMN hashtag to your tweet. I'll go through them before next week's episode and pick out my favorites. That does it for this episode of Movie Night, so let's take a look at what we're going to be watching for next episode. Both movies were just released on DVD yesterday, so I hope you get a chance to check them out over the Thanksgiving break and let me know what you think about them. For Movie Night, my name is Jonathan Paul. Good night, and have a happy Thanksgiving.